7:05, I'm going to call it meeting of the Agricultural Commission to order. Present this evening are John Webble, Deb Muller,
Sheila and the Snowman.
Beth Corbett, Rui Santos, Christine Navamalthrop, Bruce Malthrop, and John Mathias. Anyone wishing to make a recording, please notify the chair at this time.
You have to also say it's being recorded.
Oh, and this is being recorded by the local scene, formerly PAC TV. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should please notify the chair at this time.
What would you do if we all raised our hands?
I'd say go for it. All right. First order of business is to approve the minutes of January 9th. Everybody had a chance to look at them?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from January 9th.
I'll second. Oh, no, I'm
Wait,
not
you
going to
wrote
because
them.
I wrote them. Somebody else do that.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor, please?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Okay, so
All right. Next item on the agenda is recruitment of new members.
because I didn't hear.
I'm
Karen.
actually,
Yeah.
he's mentioned, I'm an auxiliary member. I
Is
should
she
just join
muted?
to be a member. Or
What?
not. Should I stay an auxiliary member?
Oh, I'm sorry. Karen, did you weigh in on that?
That's what I hear, right? Auxiliary member?
Is she on mute?
Associate.
Are you on mute, Karen? We can't hear you.
It just, it keeps going in and out.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
You're in. How did you vote on the minutes, please?
Yes,
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. It's unanimous. And Karen Johnson's also on Zoom. Back to my original. Recruitment of new members. Well, we have a potential new member sitting in this evening.
How many members do you need?
Well, if, Karen at some point is
Why don't you
indicated.
start with what you have in front of you, John? Don't you have a resignation?
Yes.
Okay. But
But
Spill it, John.
it's tougher every day. Barry Mathias is resigning, and John Mathias is hoping to take his place.
as applied.
And is in the process of applying.
I hope he can get enough votes.
Barry has, Barry's,
Oh, it's 5 on the select board, we'll see.
Barry, you were saying,
Barry's resignation hasn't been formally presented. It'll be presented with John's application. All right, well, anybody want to talk about new members, possible new members?
what about Beth?
Yeah, I can go from an associate member to a regular member.
As much
I mean-
a farmer as.
I'm a farmer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's all good.
I
Yeah, that sounds, yeah, sounds real good.
That'll
Yeah.
give us a full
I'm a
board.
legitimate farmer, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
But do we have an opening yet?
Well,
No, but if
Karen-
you have one,
Karen- Yeah.
Yes.
Karen-
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, so if and when Karen resigns, then you could apply to
Okay.
be a voting member.
Perfect.
Did you get that, Karen?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Well-
thought you had another position, maybe in non-voting, the gal that was up your neighbor.
yeah, the one across the street, I don't know where she went or what happened.
Was it Maggie?
Megan,
Megan,
Yeah, so what,
Maybe
wasn't
Megan.
that a position?
She was associate, I think, wasn't
she was,
Sure.
Yeah.
she was. Missy from the Board of Selectmen is also an associate, so we have Beth, me, and Missy are the 3 associates. And then the 5 voting members, so there's 8 people total.
Oh, great. So you've got it all. You've got all you need.
Well,
Well,
yes,
as long as it
But
stays
as-
like it is.
but as people leave, then we have to, but I think that would be great for you. to,
Yeah.
Be able to join as voting.
I couldn't
member.
before because I was working. That's why.
Okay.
That's a
well,
poor
great.
excuse.
I know it was, but hey, it's the best one I could come up with.
Well, you'd be great because we know that you will come and.
Right.
And
Yeah.
participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm not participating, I am, but
Let me know if you ever want to take over the secretariat. Could be pretty good. And then I'll take a break.
I remember, I don't think so.
That's right.
Or the chair's position.
Okay. One for 8 years or something.
I got such a bad memory.
Yeah,
No.
I'm ready to take a break.
You've had it for a while. Well, Rui took it from me and
Yeah.
then you
Let's
took it
see.
from Rui, I think.
Yeah, I took it.
Well, you know,
when I
there's nothing
retired.
like new blood in the chairman's chair.
You're here for you, you did a great job. That's right.
We'll give you a couple meetings, John, and then we'll vote you in. June,
Then the
June,
one-
June is when
Don't-
we usually vote, so
Don't scare him off.
I'm not scared.
Hey,
of
he's
it.
not even sworn in yet. Let's get him on the board
I
first.
know, I know.
All right. I think we beaten that one to death. Discussion of agricultural programs for 2025. I'm gonna hand that to Jean because she's done a bunch of research on that.
Okay, so we have one speaker lined up for April 30th. This lady is coming to us from the Massachusetts Master Gardeners Association, and she's presenting a program called Vegetable Gardening 101, Wednesday, April 30th, 7 p.m. at the Council on Aging.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Mhm.
When's it, when, 4:30 at what time?
No, 7 p.m. It's
Yeah,
April-
4:30, April 30th, yeah.
7 p.m. The Council on Aging.
From the Master Gardeners,
Massachusetts Master Gardeners Association.
okay. And it's gardening 101.
Yes, vegetable gardening 101.
And did she give you some type of poster or digital announcement?
Well,
or-
you all got what I created. And I said, what do you think? And I got crickets, so.
I
I
didn't get
don't
it.
know if that
I
meant
don't remember, I
you,
got it either.
you didn't like it, or
I didn't see it.
you didn't see
Didn't
it,
see
okay.
it.
I sent you the colored copy. I don't want to waste my colored ink at home, but this is what it looks
Oh.
like. You know, I have to go with what Word has available. I don't have any other programs. Haven't, which I got a new computer. I'm trying to figure it out. But I thought, you know, it's a picture of vegetables and, you know,
That's a good one.
So it's really colorful. And I'm sorry if you didn't get it. I thought I could be my new computer. But what I would like to do is to get some color copies made and put up like the usual places
Mhm.
and give you guys, because it is April 30th, and even though that seems like it's 2 months away, it's only 2 months away.
Right.
So, and I know Rui, you said you had someone asking about it.
Yep.
So,
I did.
you know, I'll get a copy to you for your egg room.
Be nice if Rui could hand out copies tomorrow with this chicken presentation.
Yeah.
Although, we can photocopy that black and white.
Yeah,
I
but
have a
got-
printer.
but
What
I
about my
got-
printer?
But I
I
need
have
for
color.
tomorrow,
I have
tomorrow
color, I
night.
just
But I
don't
could just
like to
put-
run off
Oh.
too many copies of color.
I don't use my printer much, you know.
Okay, but I can run off, I can have
Lose control all the
the
time.
Board of Selectmen's office run off a few color copies. I can send it to them electronically and they'll run them off.
And then I'll just come in and pick them up.
Yes, or I'll drop them. Where you want to do it.
I'm about tomorrow, so.
Okay, oh, I can leave them in the egg room. I can leave them wherever you want.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the deal on that one. It's it's $225. There's 2 checks that have to be made out. One is $125 to the Gardeners Association, and then $100 that we're gonna hand to the speaker when she arrives. So I've made up the necessary document for the accountant's office to do. But again, I need at least 3 signatures on theirs. You could do that, and I'll take care of that tonight. Any questions on that? I'll make sure that the library has it, because they always have the seed library, and then they put up a nice display on gardening. So I'll ask them if they can put one of our posters right there by the seed
If I have a
library.
copy, go talk to Don and see if he'll put it on the side.
Sure.
They did last time for us.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can't get a dozen copies out of the selectman's office tomorrow and I'll leave them in the mailbox here,
Okay.
but I'll get yours to you directly because I
Okay.
need them for tomorrow night.
I do not know how many people I'm gonna have, but I'd say 10 should do it. Last I heard, it was 6, 7, and 7. But that was 2 weeks ago.
It's changed.
Things changed.
So that's that one. Then, if you remember, we were talking about the lady who does the permaculture. And I had been corresponding with her because I just wanted to have her come in and do a presentation for us. See what it's all about and whether or not it's something we would want to promote to the community. So she is busy. She runs classes on Thursday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30, but it ends June 5th. So she said we could plan ahead for that or try for another night. So I told her we'd be meeting in February and then I'd get back to her on that one. So if we go to June. And the second Thursday is the 12th. Does that work for everybody, for me to invite her to come to that meeting?
Works for me.
Which date again? June 12th?
June 12th, that would be our regular meeting.
Mhm.
What's your schedule look like, Christine?
I think I'm home, well. I'm potentially home that week, but there's a chance I may be going to Canada that week. I don't know yet. But you don't need me for the presentation.
No, but it would be our regular meeting.
Yeah.
so- But by then John will be here, so.
Yeah, I can't tell you for sure. I'm at a horse show the week before, and then I told my father I would potentially drive to Canada with him that following week, but nothing's been set in stone, so
Okay.
I don't know.
All right,
About
so
Thursday
I will go,
morning.
if it's all right, I'll go ahead and,
Yeah, as long as I'm
Schedule.
not, I'm open horse show wise, as long as I'm not in Canada.
okay, so
Yeah.
I'll,
You may get the Canada, no.
so John, I'll go ahead and schedule her for the 12th.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Yeah, wait a minute, I mean, it's the current issue of Edible Magazine has an article on permaculture.
good.
So-
Is that the current one?
No, this is an old one.
Okay, because I thought I picked up the
Yeah.
current one in your egg room
Yeah, the
today.
one, the current one is much more bright. Kinds of stuff all over,
Okay.
but it does have an article on permaculture, so
Okay.
if you'd like to buy a copy of the magazine.
She's the woman
So cheeky.
mentioned in that article, I think is the one that Gene's talking about.
Is it?
I think so. In
She
fact,
is the one that had the booth at the ag fair.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all I had for now. Jim.
All right, so just so I'm straight for the minutes, we potentially gonna invite her to come to the meeting on June 12th.
Right.
Okay.
For a short presentation for us to determine whether or not it's a topic we think would want to sponsor a full program for the community. I don't know enough about it myself to know if it would be of interest to a broad group of people.
Do you think there would be enough interest if we tried to pursue somebody to talk about bees?
You say
Bees,
Yeah.
bees.
Why not?
Why not?
Did the library have something on bees last year?
Possibly.
Do you know
might
anybody in
wanna
the bee
just
club?
Run it by Donald, make sure we're not both scheduling.
Do you know anybody in the bee club?
No, but the
There's a big
girl
club.
who puts the stuff up.
Plymouth
by you-
County, yeah.
No, not the bee girl.
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah, yeah. Get her first name. But yeah, she is, and then Ken Pearl.
Yeah.
He's the guy who does the stuff up at the
Mhm.
Marshfield Fair, so.
This
They-
health is so bad.
Is it?
He's the one that comes to the ag fair. I mean, he's almost not mobile anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, there's probably somebody, it might be worth
Well, somebody else maybe within that group. Yeah, it's kind of,
actually.
yeah.
I think there's more interest in why, but more people talking about.
Yeah,
Local
There is,
products
yeah,
and
there is
fees.
interest. The other thing is, you think that if our branded growers would be interested in doing something, think anybody be interested in that? Could they do that? Just a little public educational thing, you know, talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything that's done other towns. Yeah, I mean, it's still a big industry around here.
We have so many people doing soap. I'm gonna ask a couple of people I know if they'll come do a soap demonstration.
How about the cheese lady?
I have it down. She hasn't been calling me back, so. Yeah, Kalina, yeah,
yeah, her health is up and down.
Yeah.
so-
yeah, she's had some health issues, so.
Does she make cheese locally?
No, well, she actually, she uses my milk and makes cheese, and, she won a competition. Yeah, she sold it at one of our egg fairs.
Did you guys see that Carl O'Neill's farm is gonna get taken over by a goat lady who makes cheese?
No.
And she's
Carl?
gonna start, yeah, she's gonna start like some Duxbury brand of her goat cheese. And hopefully like start a business with it. I saw a thing and I don't remember the lady's name.
Oh.
Sounded familiar, like I've heard it before, maybe from you guys.
Mm.
Do you remember where you saw it?
Yep. It was on Facebook, like Duxbury helping Duxbury or something.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Duxbury helping Duxbury, or one of those town pages where they made the announcement.
Mhm.
I think Carl's keeping a small group there to milk.
For the 4-H kids and stuff.
I think so, but it's gonna mostly become goats down there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It is.
And
They
they-
probably have Nigerians.
Yeah, I have no idea. But they're gonna milk the goats and then she's gonna try to start a cheese business there, and it'll be like Island Creek Ghost Oysters, but like Island Creek Goat Cheese or whatever.
yeah.
It's gonna become like a Duxbury named product.
Good. Yeah, goat cheese is very popular now,
I love goat cheese.
Hmm.
you know?
And Linda Cook was looking for local cheese because she does the flowers and wine and cheese she's switching to flowers.
Oh. Linda Cook with the horses?
Yes,
Oh.
because after her surgeries, her knee surgeries, she wasn't able to ride for a long time and she's down to just a couple of horses. So
Okay.
she started flowers,
Oh, okay.
as a,
Kingston.
Yes, off
Tree
of
farm.
Grove Street.
Yeah.
What's that road?
tree farm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
And, so this would be the second or third year, and she'd contacted the gal on Main Street about flowers, and she does
Which one
the one by
Crooked
Cincinnati
Barn?
Hospital.
Elise?
Crooked Barn,
Oh, Crooked Barn.
yeah. So she was looking for local cheese and
Okay, so that's what I read, that was gonna start happening. I
Start.
don't know when, but, Yeah.
Eddie would know.
I mean, is there
Probably- he probably
anyone
would.
in
Yeah.
Edible
he's,
that's
he's
advertising
in the know, I think.
Oh,
about
goat cheese?
everything.
for
Yeah.
goat cheese? Yeah.
Not that I've seen.
Right.
It's really, once Alex stopped being the dairy inspector around here, Megan, who took it over, is really a pain in the ass. She makes it very difficult for anybody. She makes it, it's really difficult to stop being a commercial dairy. Before, Alex did this for so long, it was just, he came to my house, he said, oh, all you have to do is this, this, and this. Well, she came, she says, well, you have to do that, and you have to do that, and you have to do this. Oh, no, you can't do this, you need that. And I'm like, it totally negated most of what Alex told me, and Alex had done it for years, so.
New regs.
No, she didn't know what she was doing. She was learning. Yeah, no, she says, I'm trying to learn this. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, great. This is helpful for us, but that,
Yeah.
I mean, there are a few licensed people around selling milk, but you know, and stuff, but it's, they've made it very
Little more
difficult.
challenging.
Yeah. You know, 'cause it's actually just a certification. It's not grade A, but they want you to practically meet grade A, so, you know, which is quite an expense. You would probably know that.
All righty. The Southeast New England Agricultural Conference sponsored by CMAP out at what the heck is the name of the school?
Bristol
Bristol
Aggie?
County.
Yeah.
Bristol County Ag,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Senior moments are coming fast and furious.
Join the group.
I went out, got there nice and early and actually had a really nice day. They had a number of different seminars. I went to one on avian flu and one of the ones on aquaculture. That both very interesting, very informative. The aquaculture one sort of was more of a discussion about some of the programs that have been available that were only marginally successful. So I get to put my 2 cents worth in, just, about making some improvements and some changes. But I would recommend it. It's a great way to spend the Sunday, and they give you lunch.
Hmm.
And it's a really good lunch, so locally sourced stuff. Now, I'm about the food.
John-
Labrador Retriever.
John, how many different seminars would
I
you guess
think
there
there were
were?
probably 12, maybe a couple more, and I
You,
don't think I
did you
brought.
go, you go
I
to?
didn't go.
Oh, just you.
Yeah, John and I went years ago and then I haven't been back.
It's definitely a worthwhile thing to go to. And I'll definitely go again next year.
I had positive feedback on it from people that I had sent
Yeah.
out the information to.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Where
see-
is Bristol Ag? What route?
Dayton,
138,
It's not 44.
no,
Uh,
72.
over-
I think
Bridge.
I think it is 138. It's not a horrible drive.
no, half, well.
No, I think you
it's
take,
more like
I know I took like what is that, 78 or something?
79 down.
79, yeah, when I was on my way down to Rehoboth, and I went that way to someone in Rehoboth, and I went right by it, it was like, oh, there it is.
It's,
Yes, yes.
I go 44 to 195.
Yeah.
But that's how I get to Swansea.
Depends what time you go. A lot of times it has to go back roads.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's considered Center Street, but it doesn't say the route number.
So anyway, I recommend if you have the time, it's a nice take.
They've been doing that a long time.
Mhm.
I remember I went there many years ago, I'm talking like 30 years ago, I think.
It's a beautiful campus. It's a
Yeah.
great school.
They just redid it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice. I mean, it's like a little Ivy League college campus.
Yeah.
Does anybody know if the 9 towns that are represented in South Shore vote, or not South Shore, if that vote was voted through? They want to build a brand new South Shore
Right.
regional, yeah, I don't think they call it vocational, but it requires the vote of 9 towns, and the proposed building was like $240 million, of which the state was gonna kick in 60% of it, maybe 58% of it. But the 9 towns like Hanover, Pembroke, and those towns, they have to vote it in each town, and that vote was due to come up, I want to say a couple of months ago.
This wouldn't be a good year. Yeah.
It's definitely-
Yeah, it might be tough.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going.
I don't know how the vote was, like I said.
Yeah, I mean, if it has to come up at a town meeting, the town meetings don't normally start until April, May.
They had all the towns had a special
They had a
election,
special town meeting.
and then to see if they were gonna go to town meeting, I guess, I don't know.
Well, you would do the town meeting first and then the election.
Maybe they already did it. I only heard it on ATD.
Mhm.
I saw something about that on Facebook too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Kingston Agricultural applying for the program we have, there's not enough room. We no longer can take Pembroke and take Duxbury
Mhm.
because Kingston's full. They don't have, they only do Kingston residents now. If you're Pembroke, would
Or-
come. Just
Plimpton and Halifax too.
Talking about the vote.
vote. They don't accept any more Pembroke kids and any more Duxbury kids. Because there's so many from Halifax, Plimpton and Kingston.
Well, didn't they get out of the regional thing
Yeah, but
anyway?
They
Yeah,
could
but
still
they
go
still-
for the vocation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now, Elliot told me that last year they had almost 50% of the eighth grade trying to get into.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
But because, they realize kids, some kids out there realizing, why spend 60
Right.
grand on going to college? When you
Yep.
can start out in one of those programs,
mhm.
get an internship and get your foot in the door
Right,
and then go from
Paid
there.
while you get paid.
And get paid while you're doing it, yeah.
right.
Yep.
How would it without school debt?
And I know the nursing program at Silver Lake, last year, when I went to the, little banquet, whatever thing they had in the fall, every single one of I'm gonna say girls, but there may have been a male and they're a student there. Every single one of them, I think there were 14 of them, were all going on.
Mhm.
And a couple of them had to deal with some hospital where you come to work for us and we pony up some of the money. But
Yeah, it's nice because they get the certification while they're in school.
yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time they're mostly juniors, they already have their certifications. That way they can get right out senior year and go right to the.
Yeah.
Wherever they want, because they get their certification.
Well, they get the co-op opportunity too, so
Yeah.
as soon as they get their foot in the door.
That program's always full. Always.
It's very competitive to get into those programs.
Yeah.
I got a couple kids that work for me on and off and stuff, and it's like, struggle to get in. Had to wait an extra year to apply and stuff.
Okay, Rui, you want to talk about eggs, please?
okay, I got a bunch of stuff to tell you about eggs. I might as well start, I had an agenda somewhere, but I didn't just stick to things.
I'm gonna start importing Turkish eggs, so we'll let you
Yeah,
turkey egg.
there's good news and there's bad news across the board in terms of agriculture. Some not so good news is that the price of food is never coming down for the next year and a half, at least, because 63%, 63, I think it is, percent of all farm laborers across the board in the United States are foreign born. And 42% of those are documented. In the case of when this current administration started rounding people up, there were reports in Texas and in Florida of entire crews not showing up at the height of picking season because they were afraid of being rounded up and sent off. And the illustrious powers that are rounding people up are at times rounding up the wrong people. They're rounding up people. Somebody goes to work and doesn't have a green card. They don't care. They just round them up and send them off, and it takes days before they can get that straightened away. Another piece of not so good news is in the 5 years between 2017 and 2022, 142,000 farms went out of business in the United States.
How many?
142,000 farms went out of business in the United States. As far as Plymouth County goes, I remember talking to John about this. Between 2012 and 2022, Plymouth County lost 670 farms,
Just in Plymouth County.
just in Plymouth County. But in 2022, the number of farms went up by 3 or 4. And John said he thought it was because of people wanting to get into oysters.
Well, aquaculture.
Agriculture. Yeah, the number, in 207, there was 882 farms. Then by 217, they were down 802 farms. Now we're up to 809 farms in Plymouth County. At least that's according to, all these statistics are from 2023. Of the farms that exist today in Plymouth County, more than half, 480, produce a value of sales of less than 25,000. So they're all hobby farms. Nobody's making a living.
Well, the state likes to count anything they can call a farm.
That's right. And of that 480 farms that are making less than 2,500, half of them, literally half, 240, less than $2,500. So that's somebody with the farm stand selling tomatoes. Tomatoes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. If you want to talk about chickens, in all of Plymouth County, there's 4,126 chickens in the entire Plymouth County that have been counted. Yeah, I'm sure there's some that haven't been counted, and I assume they get that statistic by rounding up all the information that you send to the state.
I don't, state doesn't usually share.
I got this.
Numbers, I guess, can be shared.
This was from the United States Department of Agriculture, 2023.
Well, they send out a survey every year, so.
Yeah,
it's
maybe
just
that's-
Like who sends it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4,120. So the good news is, if you want to get 2 dozen chickens and put them in your backyard, the price of eggs is not going down, contrary to powers that be. Okay, because it takes 6 months to raise the chickens before they lay a large egg. And the hatchery that I deal with, Reich Hatchery in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, I called down in December to put my order in for March, and they told me I just made it under the wire because they were running out of a lot of people were ordering
Wow.
chicks. And they just said people are trying to get chickens. But, you know, eggs. Roach Brothers is selling eggs for $10 a dozen. My daughter goes to New Bedford one
Highway
day.
robbery. I mean, the big wide, I thought, I saw it the other day, weren't they like $5,
Yeah,
$5?
if you go to Market Basket, you
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
2 dozen for
yeah.
like $5. Now, I don't know why Roach
I'm so
Brothers,
used to paying $5 because I buy fresh eggs all the time, so, you know, I mean, I didn't think it was that bad, but somebody else is horrified.
my daughter goes to New Bedford one day a week for her job, and she said they were selling them there for $11.29 a dozen. in New Bedford. So, and I have seen on television, New York City, $14.99, California, $12.99.
They're taking
But-
advantage.
Oh, of course they
Oh,
are.
yeah.
But a lot of the California stuff is some of the regulations that California
Oh, maybe.
farmers are faced with.
Yeah.
You know, the humane treatment. It's a lot of,
Outrageous stuff. Yeah, California is just tough.
well, it's a
Tough,
lot
I
of
don't know,
tough stuff. I mean,
tough place to do anything.
55% of Massachusetts farmers have a primary occupation other than farming. They're all doing something else.
I think most farmers across the country are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's not enough land here to make it go.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to have.
And they
tons of
tax the
acres.
land at residential prices. They don't give you a farm.
Right.
In New Hampshire, you could get a current use, you know,
Yeah.
but in Massachusetts, you pay residential tax on your land.
And 3/4 of all the farms that exist in Plymouth County are owned and operated by people of age 65 or older.
75%?
Yeah, 678 out of 809, so that's 3/4, 75%, maybe 80%.
And that was farms in where, is that Mass or Plymouth County?
That's in Massachusetts. Now, you know, even if you had in a right to farm town like Kingston, and you wanted to put a dozen hens in your backyard and you're willing to pony up the money for the first 6 months, you can then sell the eggs for $6 and $7 a dozen and people will buy them. I mean, I sell out every single day and there's only 7 or 8 or 9 dozen. Now we'll see what happens when we get to September, October, and November, when I'll have 230 hens lay in as opposed to 115 or 20 right now. But right now, everything goes every day. You know, I think the younger generation, a lot of people don't want to get into farming in the younger generation because it's not a pristine, clean business. There's a lot of animal stuff to deal with. It's a lot of poop, you know, let's face it,
Exactly.
you know, you gotta deal with it. You know, you either gotta pay to have to haul it away, or you gotta put it in the garden, or you can sell it like I do. But it's just a business that the younger generation doesn't want to get into. Anyway, okay, let's talk about avian influenza, for which I brought my friend along over there. Well,
Is he healthy?
he's healthy.
Hasn't been out with the wild geese?
No, that's another thing, you know. People who are raising their chickens in their backyard and they want the idyllic thing of letting them run around
Free
a little bit.
range.
Yeah, free range. They're really playing with dynamite because the avian influenza is spread by wet waterfowl, primarily geese and ducks. And the discouraging thing is I found there is a breed of ducks, 1 duck, 2 ducks, I don't know. A breed of those things they call ducks that they have determined is a carrier, but it doesn't die.
Really?
And I got that out of the University of Wisconsin in Madison, said they just came across that somewhere. So let's hope it
Is it a
doesn't come here.
domestic duck or a wild duck?
Probably wild. So I don't know if that gives us,
So they're a carrier.
yeah, they're a carrier. Typhoid Mary. All right, talk about avian influenza. According to the scientists, it's a contagious respiratory disease that pretty much reappears in the United States every 5 years, 3 to 5 years, you get it. Not always as deadly as this one. And it's like the flu, just keeps coming back. It transitions, it morphs, and it comes back. There are
Excuse me, would you say every 3 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years, yeah. At least that's based on past history. And there isn't anything that seems to indicate it's going to stop. Now, you know, if the government shows up on your chicken farm, they got to try to figure out if your chickens have avian influenza. There are some things that the farmer would note right off the bat, but there's one in particular that I brought my friend to show you. If you're a farmer, the first thing you look for in chickens is the food production gone down. I mean, the food consumption gone down. Chickens eat constantly if they're up. It's just part of their nature. So you should be able to tell from day to day if all of a sudden there's an excess of food in the feeders, and then the next day it's there again. That's a warning sign. Also, the same thing with water. Is their water consumption gone down? Lack of energy, misshaped eggs, noticeable egg reduction. Those are all things that the farmer should be seeing. But the thing that they look for over here on this guy,
Does he have a name?
no,
Does he have a name?
she.
She, does she have a name?
Geese don't lay eggs.
Penny Penny?
See that other chicken?
Mhm.
It's called Wattles, Wattles.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be read along with a comb all the time. It's full of capillaries. Yeah,
Yeah, capillaries.
capillaries. And what these things help the chicken cool down in hot weather. blood flow increases in there, they cool down. When the hen gets about a year and a half, right along here, you'll start to notice some discoloration. It's a little gray. But if this turns purple or blue, you've got avian influenza. That's the way, that's what they come. They come and they look at a flock, they see one or two hens that has these knots. In any shade of purple or blue.
Hey, Rui, would you mind doing that so that it can be on the camera?
screen.
So people can see it?
Can you put it here? Do you
It's
demonstrate? Speak to the camera.
The way the government determines if your flock has avian influenza is by looking at the chickens and looking at these two aspects, not so much the comb, but at these wattlets. That's the only word I've ever heard. it
Yeah,
called.
waffles. Yeah.
They hang down, they are there to cool the bird down in hot weather because of the large number of capillaries that go through here. When a mature hen gets to about a year and a half, this part right below, just the lower, not even a quarter of an inch, eighth of an inch, starts to lose its redness because of age. But if the entire wattless has a blue or purple hue to it, then you have avian influenza in your flock. And the government comes in, it only takes one bird for them to find, they take the whole flock and they wipe it out. Now, I did find out you do get reimbursed. But a lot of the small farms, people with, less than a couple of thousand birds, if the government comes in and wipes them out, they're not gonna go back into business because so many of the farmers are doing something else. And so the farms just decrease in number.
How do they get rid of the birds?
That, I don't know. My guess is they probably burn them.
Yeah.
And that would be my guess, because I don't imagine they would want to bury them on
Right,
the
exactly.
property.
Right.
I didn't find that out.
It'd be a big hole, 1,000 birds, big hole you dig.
Yeah. But I guess they have some kind of, ecologically sound system to get rid of them. But I also found out that the majority of eggs in this part of the country come out of Iowa and Missouri, where there are farms. I don't have the statistics now. I was going to look them up. Where there are farms that have millions of laying hens. I've
Wow.
seen photos of them. Looks like a wagon wheel. All the feed bins are in the middle, and the houses go out like spokes, and every one of the houses has 200,000 hens in it.
Okay, so it says composting is the most efficient and environmentally responsible method of disposal for the bird carcasses with flu. The compost piles must rise to temperatures that ensure the virus is inactivated. They're monitored daily with thermometers to ensure temperature levels are consistently maintained.
Now, do they compost it on the property and then one big
Up there,
hill?
probably. Carcass management.
Yeah.
They get very animals in the little pots.
Yeah, that's been done. We just, if the animal dies, they throw them in the manure pile. Cows, they do that with cows.
That's one of the, that's one of the approved ways of
It'll be warm, Bruce.
disposing of them is composting.
Yeah,
But you gotta be it's really hard to do it well enough so the coyotes don't get them.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Coyotes will dig like 3 feet of anything to get to something.
yeah. So it
Thanks, Rui.
would seem that you have to maybe cover the pile.
Probably fence it off or something, yeah.
Which would help with the raising the temperature. too.
Right.
Well, I think that's
Now,
all.
do you, this is just a question for you, and it's putting like, this is like little farmers, like putting, like tops over, not free range chickens, they're in their pens.
Yeah.
But people putting tops over the pens so that anything that's flying by can't leave any droppings. Do you think that's,
It could be a possibility, but,
these birds are already approved, they've already been inspected.
yeah, I don't know about for the small birds like sparrows or chickadees or anything like that, whether or not they're spreading the disease as well. I do not know that. I didn't
Yeah.
find that anywhere.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So right now, it's wild wet fowl.
Mhm.
And they're
Yeah.
saying are the major spreaders.
One
But
of the
they are
questions-
worried about the scavengers with
Mhm.
disposal,
Um,
because they,
We know that the
They'll
avian
spread it.
influenza is in cows. We know it's in cats. And they just had a report out of New Bedford where a seal died.
Yes, I saw that.
Oh, yeah, the
Seal.
zoo, at the zoo, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the zoos.
Might have been.
One of the questions, just to go back to the seminar that I went to was, people asked about turkeys, and apparently turkeys aren't.
They haven't been
had-
affected
They
by
haven't
it.
been,
They only like lay one egg every 3 days.
but, well, no, they haven't been.
They haven't gotten sick.
They
They
haven't
haven't
gotten
gotten
sick,
by it.
yeah, that's so far.
So you ask about sparrows. Sparrows are highly susceptible to the influenza infection. However, they do not transmit to sentinel contact birds. So if they're in your poultry houses, they could facilitate fire spread.
More cats. Sparrows.
So
Um,
much for the birdies.
The Department of Agriculture as of February 8th had disposed of, culled 145 million hens.
Um,
And that was from 1,410 commercial flocks and 637 backyard flocks. And in Plymouth, the avian influenza that was found, I believe, in a backyard flock,
yes.
as well as wild
At the
geese
ponds.
on
At the ponds.
Yes.
Billington Sea.
mhm.
Yes.
And in Plymouth, I was told that they weren't even taking the carcasses off the ponds because the department of whatever was in charge of that did not, Plymouth, and everybody knows Plymouth has as many ponds, it's 365
Mhm.
ponds.
Yeah.
They did not have the personnel nor the equipment to get out onto the ice to get the carcasses. And I was told that
I thought they brought the state in.
And Fish and Wildlife is doing the wildlife part, MDR is doing the domestic.
so,
And they had a big outbreak at Fields Park in Brockton too.
yeah.
Oh,
They,
did
They
they?
closed that
yeah,
down.
they closed.
Well, any place you go now, if there's a field, there's geese,
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
Every state in the United States has been affected and impacted, and avian influenza has been found. Dairy cows, 929 dairy herds in 16 states. Now, I
Wow.
don't know if they put cows down. I didn't find that out.
I don't think they do. I think that the cows just, it goes through and they just work it. I can't state it, but I believe that they don't put the cows down because the cows survive it quite well.
Last but not least, the University of Wisconsin at Madison, some professor, Friedrich, in virology, has said that the signs of the avian influenza, the way it has transitioned into cows, the version that is in cows is very similar, take that back, has the characteristics of the same kind of flus that humans get. So they're cautiously watching the cows to see, because there have been a couple of people that have been infected from dealing with cows, working with cows. So,
Do you think we have enough information on the town website? We've put a lot of material there. What do you think?
I put together a combination of information from different agencies and
You emailed that to everybody, didn't you?
Yeah.
I did
think
email
I
them,
got it.
Yeah.
and then Joanna, Animal Control put it up on their site. It was, there was so much information that was specific to looking for it or disposing or whatever. I just took it all and compiled it into one document, which I have, and then she posted it on the animal control.
Wow.
page.
So they don't have anything like any kind of, working on any kind of like inoculation part or anything?
They are.
There,
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's the good news. The bad news is that
probably be very expensive to
the
inoculate.
Department of Health and Human Services had allocated $590 million to speed up the development of vaccines to deal with the avian influenza.
And that's been stopped.
That's been cut.
Probably everything else has been cut. I don't know that for sure, but. And the other thing that I read is that the country is weary of vaccines. There's been so much misinformation sent out there, wrong information on.
I certainly hope the cases in Texas are
yeah,
helping people to see what can happen.
yeah.
I mean, the fact that a poor child had to lose their life because
Oh, did one die?
Yeah.
What was this? I don't know.
Measles.
They had a huge
Measles.
Oh, the
measles.
measles.
Yeah.
didn't, I saw that, but I didn't read it.
measles can be deadly.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
we vaccinate. And it's too bad a poor child had to pay the price for that.
With the people that are coming in, they're bringing in a lot of this stuff. They aren't stopping them at the border and making sure they're healthy.
Well, no,
And they
these are
bring this up.
people that
These
were
are-
unvaccinated,
Oh, they
These
were
are people that
vaccinated, yeah.
choose not to, because they're anti-vaxxers.
so.
Something like, I can see not getting the COVID vaccine because it's a virus. Because it's gonna mutate every year. But something like measles is a disease. A disease is a totally different thing. I know people that have had adverse problems with the COVID. My nephew has permanent heart damage. I know other people who've ended up in the hospital because of get the shot and stuff, you know, I'm a little bit of, leery of that,
Yeah.
of
But I
virus
think
things.
measles is pretty well.
Measles is a disease though, that's a
Yeah,
different
it's
story.
documented, but back to the avian flu vaccine. And just the cost alone and trying to vaccinate
Yeah.
every bird. I mean, it's quite an undertaking.
Yeah, it's impossible, really. How do you
Yeah,
vaccinate
They would
every
have to have
wild
it in a
bird?
feed through.
well, so you couldn't possibly do
No.
the wild birds unless you
No.
found a way to put it out there in nature and then
Mhm.
what else does it affect?
They do that with rabies.
They do it with rabies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's say they have done
Limited.
it with rabies.
they have,
Mhm.
yes. It's quite an undertaking.
Yeah.
It's extremely expensive. There's a lot of personnel involved. A lot of them are volunteers.
Mhm.
And that's only just southeastern Massachusetts, really.
And how many chickens do you normally have?
I seldom get over 230, 240.
Okay, so divide that by 8 of us. How many birds can each of us vaccinate?
Usually the vaccines that go to chickens are, it's in the water. You.
Right, yeah.
You just put
deprive
it in
them-
the water.
Yeah, you deprive them of water for like 8 or 10 hours.
Mhm.
Then you mix it into water and give it to them. They flock to the water.
And they,
Mhm.
They
That's how
drink
they
it.
take it.
That's the only way that I've, years ago, before they had. The disease was coccidiosis. Years
Mhm.
ago, coccidiosis, you used to have to inoculate the chickens. And I remember
Oh.
with my parents catching the chickens and dividing the building up in half, catching the chickens, and then you would pick them up and under the hen, you just, under the wing of the hen, you would just pull out the little pin feathers that are there.
Mhm.
And we had a needle,
Mhm.
two prongs that was hollow. And you stuck it in a vial of vaccine and you stuck it in the hen and then you let it go. We used to have to do them all. Did them with, like I said.
Yeah.
And Dick White, Dick White
Oh, yeah.
from Cov,
Oh, yeah.
Dick White used to work with my dad all the time and myself when we did that. To do thousands. But that was the 1950s,
Yeah.
would have been late 50s. Now, everything that vitamins, every supplements, it's
It all
all
goes in the water.
goes in the water.
Well, that's good.
That's much better,
Yeah,
Mm.
much easier.
Oh.
Yeah. yeah.
Because
And
they,
they all drink, so, you know, it's kind of evenly distributed.
and that's it, you just deprive them of water. for-
Yep.
Mhm.
Not usually 10 hours, usually 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize this, but chickens drink twice as much water as feed they eat.
Mhm.
100 chickens this time of year
Mhm.
will drink, about 9 gallons of water. In the summertime, they'll drink 15 gallons
Wow.
because they're so hot.
Yeah.
And you also notice if you have chickens, talk about the watless,
Mhm.
when hens drink water, oftentimes that goes into the water
Mhm.
and helps them cool off. And one of the problems you have with hens for manure control is you get hundreds of hens into the water. The watless get wet and they do this, and then it wets all the manure around the
Burning
water.
station. Yeah.
Then you shovel the wet manure and you get hernias.
That's when you send the younger people out to shovel.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to find young help.
All righty, 2025 agricultural fair. Thoughts, I think everybody's had a chance to read this from Missy Bateman, Selectman's representative. She spoke to the town attorney. I hope that she'd be here tonight to explain this.
Yeah.
I was wondering what it said. No,
You mean-
I read it.
I was gonna say, I've read it too. That's why I was hoping that
Ah,
we had a little clearer explanation. If anybody has one, please.
What?
Enlighten me.
Yeah, what do you need to know? Which part? The COI is just a certificate of insurance.
does it say yes or no?
Oh, okay. So Town committee with town employees, well, no town employees, this is a town event. The town was to hold this event on non-owned property. I would assume the owner of the property would request that Kingston issue a certificate of insurance to show the town has coverage for the event. We would issue that for a town event. We would need to see the agreement contract the town would engage for use of the space. And what, thank you, and what insurance requirements the property owner would be requesting. Lastly, I am assuming Kingston and its employees are running this event. Volunteers, that's us, who will work the event must sign waivers. I don't know what those waivers are, we've never done that. Any vendors contracted to participate would have to provide coverage of insurance to the town. They
That's-
Oh,
can
wait a
send us
minute.
the minimum limits and coverage, naming the town as an additional insured. And as always.
We
town
won't have
council
any
reviews
vendors.
No.
all
No.
contracts.
No.
That'll be it for vendors.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe the vendors can be my guest, but not the song.
And does this also include if we do it on town property again?
I'm thinking that at least.
So we
the
need that
thing-
clarified.
Yeah, I'm
because
thinking
that may
at
be
least the volunteers who work the event must sign waivers. I'm guessing that would apply. And then the vendors would have to provide coverage of insurance to the town. And then we have all the requirements from the Board of Health that our vendors have to fulfill. And
Nobody's
I
gonna
haven't
wanna-
gotten, remember, John, she said they were gonna update this and.
Yes.
And I haven't gotten anything from her
Right.
yet. I can check.
I
Oh,
spoke with her
Did you?
briefly
Recently?
a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, and
She said she checked the website. She didn't seem real receptive to reducing. This was the agent, Joyce? Is that
Right.
it? Okay.
Mhm.
She checked it and it was $75. And she said that's the cost of doing business.
John, didn't she say they were willing to
I-
revisit that?
I thought you had had a discussion with her and
Yeah.
she indicated to you that they would. I wasn't part of it,
Weren't
unfortunately,
you?
but.
Okay. Why was I thinking you were there?
That's what she emailed or
But
told
that's-
me. She went back to the office. She came back and said, it's $75. Because I said, then she wanted examples of people, which I have. I just said that You know, it's a big expense when you're doing.
For one day event. It's
Right.
insane.
3
And
hours.
it's 3 hours, it's not even a whole day.
No,
Yeah.
it's not even a half day.
Right,
I know. All right.
so,
Let me
is,
I don't
follow
think
up.
they understand.
Yeah.
Why would I show up if I'm gathering right
Right.
now?
Yeah,
You know, 7 to 9 dozen a day, right? At $7. So we're looking at $65. 7 nines is 63.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna show up with 9 dozen eggs to sell 9 dozen eggs and pay $75 for
which is more than
for a
what you just.
certificate for what I'm gonna.
Right.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I
works.
needed, that kind of,
That works.
I didn't have a response.
yeah, okay.
So what about, and this is, I don't know if this is doable or not, but what if we renamed it just Open Farm Day at Timber Hill Stable and didn't write Kingston AgCom on it? I don't know if we could put like a booth up for Kingston AgCom,
Sure.
but you're actually my guests on my property instead of it being town sponsored. Do you know what I mean?
I do the set.
I mean, I would talk to my insurance company, but I have,
You have. to.
I have a lot of insurance
Yeah.
coverage because it's a public business.
Yes.
So, you know, I would tell my insurance guy that we were gonna host this, but call it like Open Farm Day, like they used to do at Carl O'Neill's. They would do a farm day.
Mhm.
No.
And then have a booth for the AgCom. That way people wouldn't have to do all this crap. They could just pull in and set up for the day and,
We
for the
just
3
call it
hours.
farm, we can't call it Kingston Farm Day.
no, we wouldn't call it that. We'd have
Timber
to,
Hill.
yeah. It would just be like Timber Hill Open Farm Day, or we didn't have to put Timber Hill, just Open Farm Day. And then the first thing they could come to would be the AgCom booth. Just to, I don't know, somehow represent the AgCom. I don't know, just an idea
That's
of
a
how
great
to,
idea.
how to get around some of the red tape.
But you really have to check on your insurance.
I will, I'll talk to my guy, but I can't imagine that I'm not,
We have to.
I mean, what if I was having a party?
We have to be
You know what I
sure
mean?
we can attend as a town entity.
But you're my friend.
Yeah, I think we could.
Yeah, you're
No,
my
I think we
friends.
could, John. But it just,
It's stupid.
we started out with this little tiny egg fair and we've grown it a little bit and now.
They want to kill it.
And it's a
Well-
great Sunday event for
Right,
families.
for
and
3
people.
hours.
Yeah, with, you know, with. I don't know.
I know there's fairs like up in Maine and stuff that require the exhibitors to have insurance,
Mhm.
but I didn't pay attention because I wasn't going to these fairs. But somewhere, somehow, you can get insurance for $1 to go to the fair. You have to have $1 million insurance or something, but they have a way of getting people, you can buy it for like $1 or something cheap, like. I'll have to look into it. I may not have the exact figures, but if they're showing goats at the fair, they're not sending a lot of money, you know, because.
What I'm thinking is, you know. Could we just get everybody to sign a waiver saying they won't hold the town responsible?
I mean, that means everybody that comes through the gate, you've got to have them. And I don't think a parent, and I may be wrong.
No,
I
I'm just
don't-
No,
talking
it's
about
just
the
about
vendors.
vendors.
Just
Oh,
talking about the
vendors, oh.
vendors.
Okay.
So.
Well, next question,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What does this do? I wonder if the library's gonna have another live brewery
Just
event.
what I was gonna talk about.
What does that do to that event?
Right.
With all this,
Okay, well, I got a call, I got an email from Debbie Grace. She's on the foundation.
Yeah.
And she asked if we had set a date for our ag fair, because they're working on setting up the library. So I responded and I said, would you consider either holding your library event at the townhouse in conjunction with our ag fair, or off-site? I didn't say where, I just said off-site. And she said, well, I'm not the chairman of the committee, but I will take it back to the committee to see if they would be open to that. So. John, you read our minds.
I'm just thinking if this is. I'm not thinking good thoughts right now with all this.
It's just
It's
silly,
so-
because they're just trying to do something fun for people for free for an
And
afternoon.
it
and
promotes
it's
some
just-
good stuff. It gets
Right.
people out, vendors out.
South, it wouldn't be an issue.
Right,
I know you ever go to a dirt track stock car race? That's the most fun you can have.
Yeah, Virgin River.
Yeah, right.
Do they still have them motorcycle scrambles in Cottle? I can't remember
No.
going to them. No, they
Cut
cut those.
stopped a few years ago.
Did they?
Yeah.
I remember going to
It's
those.
now, all solar fields now.
Definitely.
We're actually gonna put a call into our agent this week about farm plates and some other stuff, so we'll talk to him about it and see what he says.
Because with volunteers at the shelter.
They have to sign a waiver.
Well, at the time, town council said they're not worth the paper they're written.
Oh, okay.
He said you can never waive your right to sue.
Yeah, that sounds,
Think about that. You changed your mind.
that's right.
So I don't know. I just,
The injury was too great.
At our place, where you're doing what you wanted to say is, the only problem with that is like, say, someone might bring a cow. He'd put a cow, I'll put his hand.
right, yes, that.
Yeah, but I mean, we,
Well, don't put your hand in it.
Yeah.
you know, if someone brings an animal, we just ask them to have someone standing by the animal to oversee or something.
Right.
You know, which most people
I don't
do.
think anybody leaves their
I was
animals
gonna say, you
unattended.
sit by
No.
your goats.
Everybody,
and
everybody.
The guy with the llama sits by the llama.
Yep,
And the cows we've had for the cow flock, they've been holding them on.
Yep,
yeah,
On ropes, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
so.
they're not meandering around over the veterans.
So,
Yeah,
well, maybe put
yeah.
a sign, put a sign up on every single fence out there. If someone has an animal, that could be, this animal will buy.
Yeah. Well, to
Keep-
put a
Yeah.
sign, these are live animals that behave, you know, randomly. so-
like animals.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, it's like,
Not in Disney.
yeah, so I don't know what to tell you, darling. That's the information we have.
But it would be, we should see what the library has to say from their liability standpoint. See if they're getting the same information.
Yeah.
I mean, they're serving alcohol too. which
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
ups the ante.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
oh,
that's
you
the
gotta
other
do
thing,
it.
like when you said have it at another meeting, I don't know that I want the brewery event at my property with alcohol.
No, you gotta say no to that.
Yeah, I don't wanna combine that,
Okay.
cause that takes it to a different level.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does.
Yes, and I don't wanna do that.
It's all just early,
Right,
but that's why we needed to start to see where we,
right,
you know, what we're gonna run into.
right.
And decide what we're gonna do. Are there any other communities around that do something similar? Through their ag com?
The only thing I could think of was when they did Farm Day at Carl O'Neill's, they would do it every year. At the end of the summer.
Do you know who organized?
I don't, but Jimmy Nielsen probably, he's the guy that brought the cows here. He probably knows who did it.
They probably said, you know what, I don't even care.
Yeah. But of course, the town of Duxbury owns the farm, so that is one other, that's a different
Right.
situation. But we'll talk to our insurance guy and get some information and
How many people?
a couple
Two or
of
three.
hundred maybe.
Yeah.
And they're not always all there at the same time. They
No,
kind
so
of float in and out.
Right, yeah, you've got your early birds and you got the
Mm.
people come later.
Yep.
mhm,
Yeah, people are continuously coming through.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah,
And they might stay longer where there'll be,
more to watch.
if there'll be more to do, if we have
Yeah.
some demos going on, we're giving pony rides. I was
Mhm.
thinking if we could get John Weir's wagon, that used to be your wagon, we could pull it around the fields with a tractor and give rides in the wagon, like
Oh,
some
yeah.
stuff like that.
People
That
love
make it
that.
fun.
That's
So
fun.
people might like stay longer.
But make sure you mention that, George.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. What'd you say?
Axe throwing, bow and arrow.
And I mean, even just forty something horses walking the barn with the kids petting horses or whatnot, you know. I mean, I just mean there's more for them to look at, so they may stay longer.
Yeah.
That's what I meant,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It gets more complicated. It's,
Was,
know.
was that written down or did she pull those numbers out of her hat? Is that actually like part of the town thing? Or,
Yeah, you mean from the Board of Health?
yeah, is that
Yeah,
actually
that
what they
was-
want people to do
yeah,
for that? I mean,
yeah.
it's been on the records before. This isn't
Yeah.
a new thing.
Well,
You
she
know-
did say something about if their if their food truck is in Kingston, they already have like a permit. I don't know if they needed another day permit. I guess
Probably.
I'm not.
I can't imagine that they would if if the
Right.
truck is already has a permit.
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
Permit for Kingston.
There's a temporary one-day event application form.
Somebody needs to ask them. They would.
Yes, because you can hire some of these food
Yeah,
trucks
they're
to
all
come
around
to
the
your
coast.
own party.
Yeah,
Right,
You know what I mean? So they
Right.
must have their own permits for the town, I
Like
would
the Edge came
think.
in,
Yeah.
$75 a day to drive around town.
Yeah, because
it's
that,
like
that was
road.
why
It was
the
$15.
beer company couldn't come because they hadn't submitted their application and had it
Hmm.
approved by the select.
But some of those food trucks probably have one for the season, like some sort of a
I'm not sure
permit.
how
in
that
town.
works.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm not
know
sure how
either.
that
You
Can't
know,
imagine
Ken
that
would
they
know that.
Go out every time they're gonna drive the truck around and have a new permit.
No,
They go
because
into a
like,
restaurant.
like Amber had a couple that came to her house for a party for
Mhm.
kids one time. They
Mhm.
came, parked at the
I've
house
heard of
and the
that.
kids got, I don't know,
Ice cream.
ice cream out of
Yeah.
one pizza and stuff out of another one.
And
I don't think she got permits to do that. I think she hired them and they already had
Right,
whatever
but
they
they
needed.
may have known what they had to get ahead of time. too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And one other question at the heading on this, it says response from insurance. I wonder if this was from insurance or from town council.
Well, I don't know. At the end, it says town council reviews all contracts. I'm not sure who she went through.
And as well, it says and as
Because it
always.
says liability insurance answer for an off-site property event. That's the heading. Yeah, I'm sorry she's not here tonight, because I knew we would have some questions.
Because some of this, I don't see little vendors. And I know we've discussed this one.
No.
No, I don't even make any money there. Why would I spend $75?
Right,
You know, it's not even like I'm selling anything there. I'm just, I'm a display.
right.
So we'll have.
I mean, it's a promotional event primarily. Right.
Yes.
All righty, moving on, Deb, would
Me.
you please?
I went to the Cape Cod Rabies Task Force meeting in January. That was a nice event, and I primarily went because I was curious about the raccoon that showed up in Eastham in November. It did test positive, but it wasn't from the Cape or even from Massachusetts. USDA is the group that does the vaccines and holds these conferences.
Used
And
to?
no, USDA. No, I don't. I'm still hearing from them.
It
still
may
getting-
not be around much longer.
They sent it out to labs in the Midwest. And that raccoon actually came from the Pennsylvania, New York state border. So
And where was it found?
Eastham.
How did it make it all
It
the
was-
way across the bridge?
But it was dumped.
Oh, it was
It
dumped.
was dumped at a rehab facility at the drive.
So somebody drove it up from Pennsylvania and dropped it in a,
Well, we don't know if somebody drove it or it hitched a ride, but it had to get out of the truck and it was dead when the staff found it.
okay. And how did they figure out where it was from?
So USDA has labs and they can,
The strain of the rabies, is that how they tell?
they can tell what the strain of the rabies, but they actually do genetic testing.
Oh, wow.
And they have genetic tags that they've done the whole like Eastern United States.
Oh,
And so
wow.
they knew when there was raccoons, from Martha's Vineyard. And they knew they came from Quebec or something.
Oh,
they-
my God,
They have a big,
that's fascinating.
I know, that's why I
Yeah.
went. And
Wow.
that's, so they know where they came, where this animal came from. they had been very worried because it was positive that whoever transported it had been exposed and not received post-exposure.
But no one ever,
They
Yeah,
never did find out.
no,
No, they put up all kinds of stuff on social media and, they never heard anything.
I did not see that on
I was gonna
Facebook.
Yeah.
I was not on the right page for that, apparently.
You missed
It's
it.
it. I missed that one.
Yeah.
I'll go home and look for it tonight, I'll tell you that.
So that was that meeting, and then I told you, I started the mailing to the Barn Book group. I mail it to myself and I blind copy everybody in it. And the first one went out. Was it?
You did one about the birds.
Oh, here's the first one. Yeah, the first one was about the New England Ag Conference. I get really positive feedback. Some people actually went and had a great time.
Yeah, I recommend it, definitely, if,
And that was successful, so I knew that it was working, and so that was the first one on January 23rd. And then the second one went out about February 10th, and that was on the buying, selling, giving away. And I sent them out the testing, and you should be buying from NPIP. The form that you should be looking for, which is this one. So that was the second mailing, then the third mailing went out. By now, I think you're all probably getting tired of me, but I forwarded the CNET from Jean to everybody so they would have it. And then lastly was the avian influenza. Like I said, I developed this information document, and then with MDR, who's handling the backyard poultry, and Fish and Wildlife, who's handling the wildlife portion of it. So I had the information to where to report to which agency, how to get rid of dead wild birds that you find, and the announcement that Plymouth County had, was positive for it.
How are we not supposed to report dead birds? that we find?
Well, they only want to know for wild birds if there's more than 5.
So is this a new initiative? Or is this something you've been doing all along? Sending out this type of information to you?
No, she just compiled this email
No,
list this
yeah,
year.
I've never done that.
Are you getting any feedback?
I'm getting positive feedback
Good.
from quite a few folks, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a great service.
So what I do is I mail it to myself and then I
Mhm.
blind copy. I'm not, you can't share
Right,
information,
about who's in the barn book.
right,
Yeah.
because that's just goes to the state, and the town's not supposed to, but they don't have it because nobody sees who else is in the group.
Mhm.
So, and I can also use it for, like if you were looking for a new member, and I thought maybe if you were looking for help, because I know you were, I can use it to spread the word that way too.
Excellent.
It wouldn't hurt to put an email out saying that volunteers are always welcome, or whatever, if anybody's interested in getting more involved,
Yeah.
to start
Can
coming to
you
you.
send out our brochure on the vegetable gardening?
Yes.
Okay.
and well, it looks like we're, depending on Karen's decision, it looks like that is gonna step up.
Yeah, but even just to still get people to come to meetings, to
Oh,
just to have other people to be the secretary.
It has to be an officer. It has to be one of the.
Damn it, Jean. I'm a rule follower.
I know.
But if you want to come up with a blurb about wanting help for
For the
the fair,
Once we know.
Yeah,
what we're
once we
doing.
know.
well, yeah, then I can I can just do that in
Yeah,
a
because
mailing.
people will need to be
Excellent.
fingerprinted, drug tested.
Urine analysis, you know?
That's a drug test, Roy.
So shows you how-
Promise of your firstborn.
Oh, I didn't know, speaking of a lot of things that technicalities, I got a email about the ethics training and everybody that's on town committees is supposed to take it.
Oh, really?
And where do we take?
It's, I completed mine on February 2nd. It's,
Is it
It's
because you
online.
have, a, kingstonmass.gov email? Because there was no announcement like that in our mailboxes.
Mm.
So Paul sent it out and said that everybody and all the members has to take this.
But see, that would have just gone to
Maybe do
people
that
with,
months and years
with the
ago.
town
Yeah,
email
We had to
address.
do that before.
Ethics.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
find it? I can
When
find
you
it in the email,
re-signed up, we had to do it.
because I thought it meant
Take, I'm
everybody.
gonna take an ethics training.
No, you're up.
No,
But maybe
I never
you
did-
didn't
I
get
never did either.
Well,
You and I
I'm
can go
fine.
together.
They
Maybe
give
you
you
didn't
a
get it,
thing
because
to
you don't,
read. I
the
don't
Ag
think they
Commission doesn't
actually.
have a,
I don't think there's
An
actually.
email.
Right.
No, you
Um,
just, they handed you
Oh,
a flyer.
we don't have a
I probably didn't read it.
Sign it.
all right, so I need to find that.
I mean,
Yeah.
we all took it at one point when we joined.
I think he said it was, but I,
Well,
Annual?
it should be for
that's, I think.
elected officials and town employees. That's
Right.
it.
It's, email from Paul.
Who is Paul?
Town clerk, Gallagher.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sent it out,
Okay.
and then, I went online and completed it, so I'm all set with that. And I
Right up
do
there.
remember reading something about if they would find you a computer if you didn't have one.
Oh, we have a computer, just dead most of the time.
I think it took,
I think you need to stop reading.
about half an hour to get to.
It's a series of
Is it on a town website online?
Must be state.
No, it's state.
Oh, state.
All right, so you look into that for us.
Yes, I will find that, and I'll,
'Cause I don't think it's gonna apply to us. but
okay.
I mean, I just don't think it will. I think it was more oriented towards town employees.
Employees. You want me to forward you a copy when I find it?
Sure.
Okay.
I can either read it or ignore it.
You can. I told you that
Yeah,
I
it might
spoke.
go in my junk mail.
That I spoke with Joyce, we already talked about that. Oh, and I also, I found a video from the USDA on biosecurity practices to protect poultry. And, they couldn't put the video because it takes too much space, but they put a link. So, Jana posted that for me.
Where's that?
You sent it out.
Is that posted on the website?
It's on the animal inspector
Oh.
page of the town of Kingston.
Okay.
That's a good.
And lastly was, the rabies clinic is scheduled for April 5th at the shelter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ian. Jean's got it in front of her. March 14th is the,
Is
Legislative
the
breakfast.
Farm Bureau Legislative Breakfast, March 14th. Doors open at 7 a.m.
I thought it was 6.
What is it called again?
This is the
legislative breakfast.
this Plymouth
yeah, I
County
did
Farm Bureau
think about that.
Legislative Breakfast, March 14th. And at the
Bacon.
Boston Tavern in Middleborough.
Yeah, I gotta post that on.
That's
there.
the one I told you about.
Yeah,
Is that where you go? Boston Devon? No.
It goes everywhere.
It's a breakfast.
Yeah, it's
Well, I
always
thought there was a
interesting.
tavern over there that you guys, oh.
Yeah, yeah, but they talk about the pending legislation, whether or not they're in favor of it or not in favor of it. There's usually a ton of politicians there. this is their opportunity to show up.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah.
The interns.
but it's informative. You get to meet other people involved in agriculture. They always ask me what I do, and I say, I come to meetings. Happening,
That's right, for more than anything.
huh?
That's writing some more than anything.
Yeah.
And say you show up.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did send that out, but just a reminder, you do have to let them know you're coming, and they'll have a nice little name tag for you.
We signed up, right, Rudy?
Make sure that
I am.
it shows you from the agricultural.
And I told her that you were coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, and John, I still haven't looked into membership there, how that works. It's on my long list of things to do. Okay,
John.
John, I sent you the picture of the horses that the fishermen in Belgium use to catch shrimp, right?
Oh, I haven't.
I know, you never put your email.
You sent it in the mailbox? You sent it in electronic?
If it goes electronic, he only
Yep.
knows if I call him and say, John, did you
Yeah, send me an
ever-" Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting
Yeah.
that they use the horses. They're suited for wading through the chilly waters in the North Sea. But it's the last place on earth where this unique fishing method is still practiced. Only 19
It's
fishermen
changing,
keep
yeah.
this tradition alive, but they train these draft horses to assist them in catching shrimp. They weigh more than 2,000 pounds and are perfectly suited for wading through the chilly waters. It says it's one of the most challenging fishing techniques ever devised, as it demands expertise in handling both massive horses and delicate shrimp. The horse fisherman guides the horse parallel to the shoreline, about 100 meters out, while dragging a large net fitted with a metal chain. The chain startles gray shrimp, driving them into the net. Then the draft horses, okay, it says they're beloved, okay, the shrimp are beloved delicacy in Belgian cuisine. A remarkable blend of power, precision, and tradition. So they show the horses and they show, they've got the baskets on the side, which is
Yeah.
where they must put the
Oh,
shrimp.
yeah.
So. I sent it to John if you,
Thank you.
he was our resident aqua guy, right?
You and
So that's
Christine.
Christine.
We can
Yeah.
team up.
Tag team.
I'll bring the horses, we'll drag the oyster.
That's all my miscellaneous farming stuff.
Thanks. Yeah.
That's in there.
Before we decide to adjourn, a March meeting. Any dates work especially well for anybody?
Well, we would be scheduled for the 13th. Remember, we switched to the second Thursday?
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
No, because Misty can't do the third.
Yeah.
Is that what we're planning on, the 13th? Does that work for everyone? Christine?
No,
I think we're going to Canada.
no.
Wait, are you guys secretly?
This is the first I've heard about Canada. So I don't know. Guess my first question is gonna be in the car. Why are we going to Canada?
You're not, remember my
You are
father wants to
not.
drive up there? And my father's gonna be 85 in a couple of weeks, and my siblings and I are concerned about him and my
Needs
mother, who's
company.
82,
Drive.
driving to Nova Scotia by themselves, so
Right, Lisa.
I had to make off, like, I'm dying to go see my aunt and my cousins
There you go.
and drive with them so that they have a chaperone.
They all went to the ag committee.
Okay, so March 13th?
Yes,
is that
big
what-
task
I
force.
wonder what kind of horses they use.
Okay, March 13th.
I remember first.
I just thought,
That's
because
a
you
nice
knew
name.
about that. Because I told you, I wasn't gonna force you into forcing
I,
It wasn't
I clearly remember.
Yeah.
And I told you
No.
that you didn't have
To
to
me.
go.
So we used to have that, my kids, it was the 3 Fs, Forced Family Fun.
Yes, I
Well,
told you he was
So-
exempt, but I had to go.
In my defense, I said, I have to get ready for the egg fit.
And it's true, he did say that.
Lawyer.
But
yeah,
Bruce,
the insurance agent.
If she packs an awful lot of stuff to go on this trip, you may never see her. again.
We'll definitely be back.
I won't have the dog with me.
You won't have
so
the
I'll be
dog.
back.
There you go. If the dog disappears.
Yeah.
Forget the house,
We know where the,
dog.
we know where the, yeah, that's all right, Bruce. It's the same in my house.
Yeah.
John who?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So I'll make a
And-
motion to
Well,
adjourn.
wait, is Karen still there? Does she have anything? Karen,
No, I'm good,
you're good? Hey,
You still
listen,
awake, Karen?
barely.
Thank you for coming.
We're not very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so my one question is, can I resign now so that Beth can take my place?
I would say yes, we hate to lose you, but yes, you may.
Well, I had to make sure that there was somebody that could step up, you know? I mean,
I know.
my health is just awful, so I never know when I can come.
Well, thanks, Karen, and I'm sorry
Yeah.
to see you leave,
Yeah.
but thank you very much for hanging in there for us.
But Karen, remember, you can always zoom in just to see what we're up to.
Or
Yeah,
better yet, if you're feeling good, come to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
yeah,
zoom
you know,
in.
I may do that, you know? I mean, I'm not even driving yet, so.
Mm.
I mean, this all happened in the beginning of September, and I just had another surgery, so
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
don't
good.
ever know what fun and games I'm gonna be up to next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can always tune in and have a few laughs with us.
Yeah. Okay. All
We
right, Beth,
may
you're on
need
the
you.
hook now.
Yeah, we may need you to keep an eye on us, you know?
So does she have to do a formal letter of
Yeah,
resignation?
Yeah.
you need to do a letter of resignation to the selectmen.
Okay.
please. And just, I don't know if you can just get a copy to one of us on the committee, please, for,
I can put it in the mail,
okay.
but how do we get Beth hooked up before the next meeting so you have a quorum?
But first you have to submit your papers and have that approved by the selectmen. But at the same meeting, we'll have Beth's volunteer form in there.
Yeah, so if Beth puts her volunteer form in,
Mhm.
you
And you
know.
know where that is, how to print. I'll send it to you. Well, that's right. You do.
Yeah.
know.
You'll have two resignations and
so-
two new appointees.
So that, that's all you have to do then. Thanks, Karen.
Okay. Good luck.
All
Bye,
right.
Karen.
Good night to you.
Good night, Karen. Take care of
Good night.
yourself, please.
You
Thanks.
guys need to vote to adjourn.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.